Welcome back to the Doug Karns program here on All Noise Radio. 267-495-4866 is the phone number. All right, let's move on to the next topic, Joe. Here is Jerry Sandusky. Let's just catch up on the story here. I mean, if people haven't, I'm sure you've heard about the story, especially in Philadelphia, but he was apparently arrested for sexually abusing children once in a shower. We're not going to go into details or whatever. And Joe Paterno got fired over it. But Sandusky now has come out and did an interview with Bob Costas, and I kind of want to roll some of that here, so let me play that.
So,
you say you're not a pedophile,
right,
but you're a man who, by his own admission, has showered with young boys, highly inappropriate, who has continually put himself in the presence.
So Bob Costas says highly inappropriate. I would probably say just flat out wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
why would you even admit to showering with boys?
Yeah, like
acting like nothing's wrong with
exactly. Because he says earlier in the interview, I don't know if we're going to get to it, but he says that I have showered with boys, and it's horseplay.
But I haven't had any intercourse.
No,
with
I
them.
touched her leg, but nothing serious. Like, it's all horseplay. We whip the towels with each other.
Everybody does that stuff with their 10-year-old friends.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just, how do you go on national television and
I touched his leg.
Like, how do you just? I mean, obviously, the first thought that a human goes through is that you touched his leg. Like, okay, now you're like getting to somewhere. When you say you touched his leg, you're getting in an inappropriate area.
We horsed around in the shower.
Saying one thing, I touched him on the shoulder once. Okay, I can see that, like in football, like saying, okay, good job, buddy, whatever. But when you're touching somebody's leg
in the car,
that's usually
on the way to
that's usually something sexual. It's just ridiculous.
Of young boys, volunteer high school coach, volunteer at a small local college, even after you were largely disassociated from Penn State. Multiple reports of you getting into bed with young boys who stayed at your house in a room in the basement. How do you account for these things? And if you're not a pedophile, then what are you?
Well, I'm a person that has taken a strong interest.
It's funny because that he's like, if you're not a pedophile, then what are you? And Jerry's like, well, it's almost like he's like, I am a pedophile, but I'm trying to figure out a way to say that I'm not a pedophile.
I kind of realized that.
Yeah. He's like, actually, I am a pedophile. Thank you for asking me.
Passionate person in terms of trying to make a difference in the lives of some young people.
He was very passionate to make it different. He definitely made a difference in some child's life. I can tell you that.
I had worked very hard to try to connect with them, to make them feel good about themselves.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
To be something significant in their lives. Maybe.
And you have to see Bob Costas.
His face is crazy.
Oh my gosh! He's like, this is awkward. And
I know a lot of young people where it hasn't. I have worked with many, many young people where there has been no misinterpretation of my actions, and I have made a very significant difference.
All right, that's like saying, okay, I've been accused of murder because I killed that person, but there's been many times, Joe, that I've been around other people and I haven't killed them. Like, he's trying to justify, like, there's been plenty of times I haven't been accused.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, you've been, charged with 8 accounts. Isn't it 8 or 18 or something?
Plenty of rapes going on in the world, but only 7 have happened at Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, so, I mean, you look at it, per capita, the rapes that Sandusky committed for one person is way more than 7 in the entire Occupy movement.
He's taking care of business by himself.
In their lives.
But isn't what you're just describing the classic MO of many pedophiles? There were hundreds, if not thousands, of young boys you came into contact with, but there are allegations that at least 8 of them were victimized. Many people believe there are more to come.
I would guess that there are many young people who would come forward, many more young people who would come forward and say that my methods and what I had done for them made a very positive impact on their life. And I didn't go around seeking out every young person for sexual needs that I've helped.
Oh, okay. So he didn't seek out every person for sexual. Not everyone. Just a few. Just a select few that he liked. You know, he goes, man, look at that boy over there. That makes you want to throw up. Like wow. I'm seriously regurgitating my dinner. Oh.
I hardly had any contact with who I have helped in many, many ways.
Are you sexually attracted to young boys, to underage boys?
Am I sexually attracted to underage boys?
Okay, you shouldn't even have to repeat the question.
Let me think about that for a second.
Like, usually when you're repeating the question, you're looking for an answer that, to cover up your other answer.
Well, yeah.
Like
to go over what him and his lawyer talked about before the...
Okay, Joe, I want you to ask me, am I sexually attracted to boys?
Are you sexually attracted to boys?
No, not one bit.
That's exactly how he should have answered that.
But it gets worse.
Are you sexually attracted to young boys, to underage boys?
Am I sexually attracted to underage boys? Sexually attracted? No, I enjoy young people.
What does that even mean? I enjoy young people. Like, you haven't given a clear... Like, there's one way of answering that.
No,
I am not.
But he enjoys little boys.
There's
many different roads that you can take from that statement.
I mean, it's not every day you get to shower with a young little boy. I mean, these we're making fun of it, but these kids have been affected for the rest of their lives that are going to pass through their eventually, with their kids. Mm-hmm. They're going to pass it through the genes because dysfunction in their lives now from these incidents. They're just going to push that emotion to their kids.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And then those kids are going to push it onto their kids. It just breeds, And
studies show, like, people who do this kind of thing, like, have this kind of behavior, have been affected in their earlier, like, younger years. They may have been abused sexually.
Mm-hmm. And usually they'll repeat and do it to either their own kids or
it just keeps on going.
And this guy truly affected them in this way.
Not in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly.
I love to be around them.
He's just not helping himself.
I'm not sexually attracted to
him. Now he finally gets to it.
Oh, okay.
When Mike McQuarrie...
It took him, let's see, that started at 7:24. So it took him 26 seconds to answer no. I mean, we're not asking, do you like to drink alcohol? And, you're an alcoholic and you're trying to say, well, I have a drink here and there. That's one thing. It doesn't affect anybody. But you're talking about being sexually attracted to young kids, which is...
What kind of question? Like, what? How do you get to that point where somebody has to ask you that? And you can't answer that straight up.
I know. I'm pretty sure you're doing something wrong in life if somebody's asking that question.
It's not something you hear every day.
Exactly. Oh, man. If only I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me that.
We saw what he says was a rape in the shower in 2002. He reported it the next day to Joe Paterno. To your knowledge, did Joe Paterno have any information regarding objectionable activities on your part prior to that report in 2002?
I can't totally answer that question. My answer would be no. I mean, that would be my guess, that I don't think he had information.
Did Joe Paterno at any time ever speak to you directly about your behavior?
No.
Never?
No.
You were around the program. You used the weight room up until recently. You were seen at Penn State.
All right, so that goes on, but
during that segment, either he is telling the truth and Joe Paterno really didn't do much about it, or he's just throwing him under the bus just to deflect some of the attention.
It's been reported that Sandusky and Paterno didn't like each other, because Sandusky was lined up to take his job one day, and then Paterno said, no, that's never going to happen. But who knows what on. I mean, didn't you just say you got an update on your phone about?
Yeah, actually on ESPN, I read a story just now that was saying McQuarrie. It's as days pass, more and more is coming out. So McQuarrie actually went into the shower and broke up the intercourse. I guess.
the act of touching somebody's leg.
Yeah,
not that
the horse play in the shower.
Yeah, the towel
he broke it up, and then he went to the police.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that point it should have been taken care of, but it shouldn't have been allowed to drag on this long.
Now, there's another clip that NBC has from an earlier interview back in the late 80s with Sandusky and about his Mile 2 program or something like that?
Yeah, Second Mile.
Second Mile, that's what it is. And it's kind of creepy how he talks about kids back then. I mean, now that you know everything, like, you would never send your kids with this guy.
At the Second Mile.
I really enjoy the personal contact.
He really enjoys the personal contact. Now, you might be thinking he's talking about football, but he's not.
I get a lot of personal contact in my life.
And he gets a lot of personal contact in his
life. Through my family,
through
our athletes,
through
the kids who are involved
especially.
in the second.
I'm sure he gets a lot of personal contact through the kids.
Now, keep in mind, this is 1987. This is before 1994 when
all that was going
first
down.
Of the victims.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to lose that.
And he wouldn't want to lose that, Joe. He does not want to lose that personal contact. Like, who says personal contact with the kids at the charity?
He got a lot of it.
Like, I would say I just enjoy the joy on their faces when they come here and we get to, teach them about football, blah, 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 whatever,
Yeah.
Like that. Like, but when you say I enjoyed the personal contact of my family, first of all, I don't even want to know.
His kid, he doesn't have any biological kids. They're all foster kids or adopted.
Oh,
so you don't know where that's going either.
These poor guys. If this guy, like we said, innocent before proven guilty.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are jumping the gun.
Yes.
And I'm not defending him, but in all seriousness,
I'm just saying a lot of signs point to that he's guilty between
these
interviews.
Lot of evidence.
And again, you just say no when you say you're sexually attracted to kids, but even just as your lawyer, I would say you usually just say no and move on to the next question. But God, the guy's such an idiot. But it's just like you're with these foster kids and everything. You're just these poor victims. I feel for them.
His lawyer did say, I don't know if it was before or after the interview with Costas, but his lawyer did say that if more than one of these kids comes out and says this never happened, he may be off the hook.
Which,
if they find enough evidence against it,
I mean,
or to
listen, I believe in the court system not as much as I used to, but if he gets convicted by
after
his peers,
Casey Anthony, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Or even after OJ.
Mm-hmm. But I'll wait until he gets convicted to hold this guy to send him to hell. But it's just not looking good, especially after his interviews. I mean, who says he enjoyed you? I signed up for the Big Brother program. If I would say I enjoyed the personal, if I told the interviewer, I was like, I just enjoy personal contact with the kids, they would not bring me into that program at all.
No.
All right, we'll be right back after this.